Daniel Farke's Leeds United are facing Leicester City at the end of this week, and it is a match that could have fundamental ramifications for the rest of the season. However, it might seem a little bit early to be doing this preview, because first I've got an apology to do. I am currently getting married as this video is going out, so I'm unable to film anything today, obviously. I'm filming this on the Friday before the match, which means that I haven't seen Huddersfield, I haven't seen the weekend's football. All of this is taken prior. All the information that I'm taking is statistically corrected while I'm recording. It won't be too inaccurate by the end. After wedding and the day after, I shall be back to recording, but tomorrow's will also be pre-recorded. Anyway, back to it. So, why do the Foxes look fairly formidable at the moment? And there's a hell of a lot of reasons that Leicester City are the team to beat in this league. First up, they have a lot of strengths. They're the best defence in the league, straight up. In terms of XG, they've only conceded 11.6, which is, I think, a little bit more than one per game. I'm just going to quickly double check. Never mind, a little bit less than one per game, making them one of the most secure defences, not just in the Championship, but in England overall and potentially all across Europe. In addition to that, there's top-tier goalkeeping behind the defence, which means that from that 11.5 probable goals of chances that other teams have created, they've conceded 7, because their goalkeeper is just off the scale. They've not even had any opportunities from shots that have been saved and then spilled. They're a very, very hard team to beat by the looks of it. They're also the most creative side in the division with the highest XG, with a total of 24.7. That's almost 2 goals per game that they should be scoring, and they have scored more because their finishing is just top tier. And it's a very, very consistent team. They've got a lot of players with a lot of appearances. They didn't lose too many players throughout the summer, and they've got this hard core of footballers that are all used to playing with each other, all know how each other play, and that causes problems for other teams because other teams have a little bit of instability, don't know how to play with each other, and have problems. As much as Leeds United have had a good start to the season, I can't help but feel it would have been better if we would have kept more of that initial squad together, and that's the consistency that we're missing and Leicester City have. However, they do have a few weaknesses that we can look to exploit. First of all, the defending against technical players is not very good. On their back line, I think they've got 2 players over the age of 30 with Yannick Vestergaard and Ricardo Pereira, both of whom play fairly consistent levels of football. And that age means that they're not the fastest and they're not that good against technical footwork. Their brains are still very, very quick, which is why they're good at positioning and stuff like that. But once you've dragged them out of position, they're not very good at sorting it out again. In addition to that, this might not seem like a weakness, but they tend to overperform their XG levels. Overperformance of XG is something that either comes down to statistical blips because you're on really, really good form and you will revert to the mean, or your forwards are just excessively good and they happen to score absolutely everything for a while, but then they will. Yeah. I'm going to call this a weakness of theirs because that means at some point they are going to underperform, and we might be that point. That is a very, very optimistic weakness. But another optimistic weakness is their heavy reliance on Kane and Dewsbury Hall. He's a very, very good footballer who should not be playing in the Championship. He's the equivalent of Jorginho Rutter to us. He's very, very creative. He scores and he gets assists. He's had 10 goal involvements before the weekend's matches. That's absolutely terrifying for any defence, and it becomes a matter of shutting him down. So how exactly do Leeds United match up? This is statistically rather than tactically. And to be fair, we're not too far behind them. We have the 3rd best XG in the league. Our XG is 21.7 compared to their 24.7. We have scored significantly fewer than they have. They've scored 7 more than us because we've been slightly underperforming our XG, but that's another potential positive. We will revert to the mean and it will all come good. We've also got the 2nd best expected goals against in the Championship, which means that we have the 2nd best defence in terms of stopping chances, which is absolutely fantastic for us. They can't overperform with their finishing if we don't give them the chances to overperform with in the first place. And another benefit for us is we have skillful players that can target that ageing backline. As I mentioned, Vestergaard and Pereira are weak against more skilled, more technical footballers. We've got Crescencio Somerville, we have Jorginho Rutter, we have Willy Gnonto. Joel Pirot can finish his chances. If we're clever with our movement and the way that we use the ball, including passing, creating opportunities, and dribbling at that back line, we could be completely on for a very, very nice result here. In addition to that, we've got a nice widespread of goal involvements, so we've had lots of goals and assists from James, Somerville, Piru, Rutter. They're all very, very creative, whereas they've relied on 2 or 3 very, very good players. Jamie Vardy's still very good at finishing for them. I think Ian Nacho's got a bunch of goals or assists. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall has 10 goal involvements out of their 27. Without him involved in that, they're down to 17, which is less than we've scored. Without our top goal involvements player, we're down to something like 14. So we're really not far behind them without that one insane outlier of Dewsbury Hall. But in order to beat them, we need to know how they play, and it's typically in a 4-3-3 shape. Very traditional, they like to control the midfield, have a back line that is just nice and sturdy behind that midfield, and isn't conceding that many chances because opponents can't get the ball through them. And then a front line of striker, winger, winger. And it works for them. They're very, very good so far, and that midfield control that I mentioned involves holding a high proportion of possession. I'm going to have a very, very, very quick look at their data to see how they are for just holding the ball. And they've only had the ball less than their opponents once this season in the league, and that was Southampton when they had 45% possession. And they still won 3-1. They like holding it. They like gradually building up their attacks rather than being straight up transitional. And I think we'll need to use our transitional football in order to deal with that, with the likes of Rutter playing his nice through balls and Dan James running at defenders. Furthermore, they had progressed the ball quite a lot through passing rather than carries. They've not got those elite dribblers that we do at the moment, but their passing is still very, very intelligent, so it could be a problem. And they have the most tackles won, but also have the third most yellow cards in the division. That is something that I see as a little bit of a weakness to them. It's something that we can use to our advantage. And ultimately, what do Leeds need to do? First up, we can try and draw some fouls with skillful play from those technical players that we've got. Jorginho, Rutter, and Crescencio Somerville dribbling at the likes of Ricardo Pereira, who might not be able to keep up, means that we're going to get a lot of free kicks. And we can arguably force them to give away cards as well. The more we do that, the more they'll shy away from tackles going later into the match, or they'll have to be substituted, bringing on a slightly worse footballer. There's a lot of opportunities to be gained through winning fouls. As long as we're not diving and doing stupid stuff like losing the ball because we think we've got a free kick, we'll be completely fine. We also need to make sure that we focus on efficiency. Taking shots when we know we can probably put them in rather than taking a shot and blazing it high and wide is going to be a must. We are not going to get many chances against Leicester City. Furthermore, try and emphasize take-ons. 25% of the goals they've conceded up to their match this weekend against QPR have been from take-ons. It's happened 3 times this season, and it works. If it's something that works consistently, they've also conceded a lot from nice little bits of passing play, but it's an anomaly that 25% of the goals they've conceded have come from these take-ons. And I feel like it's something that we're good at. We should really focus on it. Ultimately, can we do it? Yes. We can do it. There's nothing stopping us. I am saying this from a position of just having watched us lose to Stoke and not seen the Huddersfield match yet, so I don't know whether I'm optimistic or pessimistic yet, but I feel like we can get a result if we set up intelligently tactically, work to their weaknesses, and really push them to the limit. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. There shouldn't be too many pre-recorded ones coming up because I just need to do this because, as I mentioned, I think I'm in a ceremony as I speak. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Comment below, like, subscribe, and I will see you later.